Good afternoon, everybody. It is 13:58 on my watch. So exactly at 2 o'clock, I will start or proceed with today's webinar. So I'm just gonna just mention a few things. If you do have any questions, there will be a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So you guys are welcome to put in any questions on the chat so that I will be able to see those questions once I am done with the webinar today. So just make sure that you do that and be able to, um, so that I am able to see all of those questions. So it is still 13:58, so I will proceed with the webinar when it hits exactly 2 o'clock. So um, All right, it is exactly 2 p.m., 2 o'clock on my watch. So, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Mama Jackie Sole, and I am a Procon technical consultant at Micrographics. And on today's webinar, I will be doing an introduction to Civil 3D practical application for beginners. So, if you are a beginner, this is just one webinar that you would enjoy. I hope you will do enjoy it, but this is basically to touch base on Civil 3D as a whole. Without wasting any time, I am going to get on today's agenda so that we can see what I have in store for you guys for today's webinar. Without wasting any time, firstly on my agenda today, I will do an introduction, and then from there I will touch base or get into what is Civil 3D or Autodesk Civil 3D and who uses it. And then from there I will look or get into an overview of Civil 3D interface and workspace. And then from there I will definitely get into overview of Civil 3D core capabilities. What can a Civil 3D do, or what it is used for, or what it has and what one can do with it, or actually model on it to actually get something out of it. And then the other thing is I will get into conclusion, where I will conclude by actually speaking anything related to what we will be mainly doing or focusing on today's webinar. And then lastly, we will have a Q&A session. As I mentioned, I will touch base on the Q&A, where I will give everyone an opportunity to ask any questions after the webinar and be able to answer. If not, then we will touch base after the webinar. But let's get into it. Firstly, on my agenda, like I said, is the introduction. So, introduction. Autodesk Civil 3D is a civil engineering design and documentation software. It supports building information modeling, which is BIM workflows for civil infrastructure, helping users design or analyze, or also they can visualize a civil projects. So civil projects can be your roads, your highways, your intersection, anything civil project related. And the other thing that we're going to look into, or in this specific session or today's webinar, will provide beginners with a foundational understanding of the Autodesk Civil 3D, and then we are mainly going to focus on its interface, its core capabilities, and users. Now, the most important question: what is Civil 3D, and who uses Civil 3D basically? So Autodesk Civil 3D is a civil engineering design and documentation tool built onto AutoCAD. So it does have both AutoCAD interface as well as Civil 3D interface, which is something that we will get into once we open up Civil 3D. And then who can use it, or who uses it? Civil 3D is used by civil engineers, technologists, so it can either be a civil technologist or civil technicians, surveyors, infrastructure designers, or what we refer to as urban planners, and then transportation engineers, and then we have land development professionals. An application, meaning where it is used or where it is mainly applicable for one to use Civil 3D, and that is on roads, highways, and intersections. When one is designing earthworks and platforms, one can use Civil 3D. And if you have stormwater as well as sewer and water reticulation networks, one can be able to use a Civil 3D. And also grading and site development, that is where one can use, or the application of Civil 3D is usable. And the main thing that we are going to focus on, which is the overview of Civil 3D interface as well as its workspace. So before I will open a Civil 3D, I will just touch base theoretically on things that we can expect on Civil 3D interface. So firstly, Civil 3D is built on AutoCAD, AutoCAD's familiar interface with a specialized civil tools. Like I said, it does have AutoCAD familiarity or familiar interface. So some of the functions within AutoCAD will still be part of Civil 3D, which is what I will then show once I have opened Civil 3D. And the main interface for Civil 3D include the following. Firstly, we have the ribbon, which is the primary user interface for accessing commands and features within Civil 3D. So I'm speaking about the Home tab, the Insert tab, the Modify tab, as well as the Analyze tab, and many other tab or ribbon tabs that we will look at once we open Civil 3D. And we have what we call the tool space, which forms part of the palette panel within Civil 3D. And the tool space is an integral component in the user interface for accessing comments as well as styles and data. And you can use it to access the prospector, as well as settings, as well as survey and toolbox tabs. So these tabs form part of the drawing as well as data that is within the drawing in Civil 3D. So this is what we will then see what the tool space has and how one would navigate through it within the Civil 3D space. And we have what we call the panorama window. So the panorama window, basically we can use it to view and manage errors, report, as well as data list. So this data list, or many types of data list that are within the panorama window includes the point editor vista, as well as the alignment entities vistas that are within your drawing in Civil 3D. And then lastly, the main interface includes or entails the command line where you can have a quick access for commands and feedback within your Civil 3D interface. And then lastly, within the main interface for Civil 3D will be your status bar where you will display coordinates, your drawing scales, and then annotation scale, as well as your objects snaps that are within Civil 3D. I think this status bar as well is also familiar, or it is part, or it is a familiar interface from AutoCAD. But the display of coordinates and all of them is something that is part of what the Civil 3D interface entails. And then the next thing will be the workspace in AutoCAD 3D includes. So firstly, there are four workspaces that are within the Civil 3D phase or interface or workspace. So the first one will be your Civil 3D workspace. So this workspace displays the interface components related to civil engineering, design, and survey features. And the second one will be your drafting and annotation workspace. And this workspace displays components related to the AutoCAD drafting and annotation features. And then we have the third workspace, which is your 3D modeling workspace, and this workspace displays components related to the AutoCAD 3D modeling features. And then we have the fourth one, which is your planning and your analysis workspace, and this workspace displays tools related to AutoCAD Map 3D and your GIS, which is your graphics information system within Civil 3D. But as we all know, the drafting and the annotation, as well as the 3D modeling space, they are familiar workspace that are from AutoCAD itself. And without wasting any time, I am simply going to open a Civil 3D. And when you open Civil 3D at the moment, I have installed a Civil 3D 2026. That is what I will be showing the interface based on. And usually when you open Civil 3D, this is what you would see. So on the left hand side, you can either open a file or open a sheet set or explore sample drawings. But the main thing over here is you can browse any template or template that you can use for your Civil 3D drawings. But you can also customize your own template that you can use for a company. I know for most companies, one or people can and simply do that. And if you click on browse, what you would see is it will open the template, or simply open from the user, from the C drive and the user, and it'll be myself, and then your application data, and from your local, and then from the Autodesk family, and then from Civil 3D, then that's when you will be. So this is basically the path of where these templates are actually saved within your computer. And you would see I already have the Civil 3D RSA.dwt template, which you can have, or you will be able to have access to if you have installed the South African country kit that that you need within the Civil 3D space. So before you can use Civil 3D, one needs to install all the South African country kit in order for you to have the template. So There is a link, or there is a video in one of our YouTube channels where one could actually be able to do that and copy them over to the designated folders that needs to go into. So without wasting any time, one would simply select, or I would select the South African template, and from there you will have a complete or an open, or this is how the template for the South African template is at the moment, but one would definitely be able to customize their own template and so forth. But without wasting time and getting into templates and stuff, I'm just gonna go through. I'm gonna open a drawing that I had already, or I have existing, so that I'm able to go through the interface without any issues and be able to explain a lot of things when it comes to the Civil 3D interface. As I mentioned, the Civil 3D interface actually includes the ribbon. So this is the ribbon over here, this part over there, and these here are called ribbon tabs, and these ribbon tabs differ based on, or some might be new based on the fact that they are part of Civil 3D, and some can be familiar based on the fact that they are AutoCAD ribbon tabs that already exist within the AutoCAD space, right? And the only ones that are specifically for, or the ribbon tabs that are specifically for um, Civil 3D, it will be your analyze tab, survey, the rail tab, as well as a transparent tab, the infraworks tab, as well as the help tab. I think it's not part of the, it's not there, but I stand to be corrected, but I think it's not there. And then we have uh, the Express tool is still part of the AutoCAD interface, and then we have the Future app. Also, it's still part of the AutoCAD interface as well. And what you will then see over there will be your geologic ge- geolo geolocation tab that is only appears, or this is, or this tab basically appears only after you have assigned coordinate system within your drawing, and then this tab will definitely be displayed. And if you've seen the old one or the other drawing that I have opened, you see it's not there, but because of this specific drawing, I have a survey or coordinate system within the drawing, and that is why you see we have this geolocation tab forming part of the ribbon tab in the drawing, right? As I indicated, these are our ribbon tabs, and under the ribbon tabs we have different tabs that we can go through. I'm going to start with the home tab, but before I can even go into detail in terms of the tabs that, or the ribbon tabs that we have, we will see, or you can see at the top there, we have the file menu where you can access things like your new where you can simply open a new drawing, new sheet, and then open, that is your drawing. And you can also open a drawing from AutoCAD Web and Sheet Set, and then you can open a DGN or an IC model, and then sample files into Civil 3D. And then we have the different other functionalities, which is save. You can save it as either a .dwt, that is if you are trying to create your own customized template, then you can go ahead and do that. And the other thing that you can simply do is save the drawing as a specific drawing type. And then save as, like I said, you can either save it as a drawing or a drawing template or a drawing standard or other formats if needs be. And then with Civil 3D as well, you can export to different formats. So you can export to DWF, DWFX, or 3D and then export Civil 3D drawing, or to DXF, or either PDF and then IFC. and you can publish, which is sent to 3D print service or archive or e-transmit or either email or share a certain view in your drawing, and then you can plot or print your drawings if needs be, and then you have drawing utilities, that is your drawing properties, your DWG compare or your drawing settings, and then units audit, and we have status, and then we have purge or recover or open drawing recovery manager if the program at some point decided to have closed on its own. And then we have close current drawing or all the drawings, that is if you have more than one drawing open in your drawing. And then from there at the top we can see these are our quick access or customized quick access toolbar. If you drop down over there, these are the ones that are selected, the ones that you see here, which is new, open, save, and then open from your web or mobile, and then save web, plot, undo, redo, workspace. And that is the workspace. Even if I didn't select the workspace to be at this point there, even at the bottom there, that is where I can simply access my workspace at all. And then you will see the 3 or the 4 different workspace that I have or that I mentioned on the presentation, which is civil 3D, civil 3D modeling, and then planning and analysis, and then we have this specific one. I see we are not seeing the drafting, and that is simply because under the workspace setting it might not be switched on. So the minute you select it and click on OK, I think from there if we select it should be there. I think I am missing something. Let's see. Then it says when you change to workspace, do not save the changes. Okay, automatically save the changes. Okay, that is where the mistake was, because I wasn't saving any changes, so it was not saving what I was changing over there, right? So then from there you will see all the 4 that I did mention, but this one is the one that I definitely created as the customized workspace that I need for myself. So customized workspace also entail the different properties that you see either on the left hand side, on the right hand side, and then your status bar as well. That is everything that you see over there. Your drawing, your annotation scale, your drawing layout, your coordinates, and then your snap tools. Over there you can change your snapping settings as well if needs be. So these are your status bar that you can simply change. So there, our status bar, you can change or select exactly what you want to see on the interface or the civil 3D interface. So everything that I have selected, coordinates, model space, grid, snap mode, and then dynamic input, ortho mode, polar tracking, and then your isometric drafting, object snap tracking, and then all of these that I've selected is everything that we are seeing on our status bar at the bottom. Right, so now I am gonna dwell onto our ribbon tabs. So basically, in terms of the ribbon, there are different types of ribbon tabs that you can see. So we have ribbon tabs, and then you will then be able to see what you call your contextual ribbon, and sometimes you will have the multiple object select ribbon tab popping out next to the geolocation tab. And then what those entail is if I would select, for instance, something within my model. Right now I've selected more than one object within my model space, and you will see the multiple ribbon tab will then be available. And if you look at the properties palette, then you will be able to select exactly what you are trying to select, either the polyline or the corridor, and then be able to make changes to the style or whatever it is on the properties for our corridor. right? And if I would select just one single object within your your model space, then that is when we will see our contextual ribbon tab, where it displays what you have selected, or information, or editable information for that specific object that you have selected in your model. So at the moment, the contextual ribbon tab actually states that I have selected a corridor, and that is the name of the corridor that I have given it to be. And then you will see the ribbon will then be different, in the sense that we now have different panels from the ribbons that we usually have when you've selected the home tab, the insert tab, and the annotate tab, or the modify tab. So that is what we call a contextual ribbon tab, that is specific for an or it only appears when you have selected an object within your model space. And then from there, you will be able to edit whatever it is that you want to edit within that specific object in your model. So be it you want to modify the corridor, or you want to modify the region, or you simply want to modify corridor section, or analyze or use your corridor tools. And then you will see over there we have what we call our launch, or our launch pad panel. So that is your that is just to provide access to the comments that you might not use in your next workflow. So you can decide on it what you want to do within uh, your launch pad ribbon, so it forms part of your contextual ribbon tab as well. So this is what the contextual ribbon tab includes or entail, as well as your multiple selection ribbon tab that entails. So there are different tabs, so three ribbons. So you will have just your normal ribbon tabs, and then you will have your contextual ribbon tabs, as well as your multiple selection tabs. Right, so I am going to go through the different tabs and what they use, but firstly I'm going to start off with the home tab. So from the home tab, we have mm, a few ribbons, or few panels. So at the top, these what at the top we call them tabs, and then at the bottom there, that is what we call panels. So if somebody says just check under the palette panel, then you will know exactly where to navigate within your drawing. So under Civil 3D, the only under the home tab, the only panels that are new, or that are only specific for Civil 3D, that are your palettes, explore, optimize, and then your create ground data, as well as create design, and your profile and section view. And these are just familiar interface tabs or panels that we know, that is your draw, modify, and your layer, as well as your clipboard. But under draw, there are certain things, or certain lines that have been added just specifically for Civil 3D, that is to create line by point uh, range, or create line by point objects. So they are the same as in or they are familiar with the AutoCAD interface, but there are some additional things that have been added under these panels that one could use under the Civil 3D um, functionalities. But I'm going to start off with the palettes, which forms part of what you see as my interface on the right, which is your tool space. And if you deselect this, you will see that now the tool space disappears, and that is because you need, if you want to access it easy, you need to make sure that it is blue, or highlighted in blue, so it shows it is within the Civil 3D interface. And similarly to what we see on the right hand side, which is the properties palette, that is basically what has been selected under the palette. So if I deselect it, you will see on the right hand side that the properties palette does not, oh, it's not there anymore, but the minute I make it blue, you will see it does appear. So the way you see my model space or my interface or my civil 3D interface, I have genuine or basically moved these specific tabs or panels to the to the left hand side and to the right hand side, preferably what I prefer and how I would want to see my interface. So you can simply select and drag or move these interfaces um, if needs be, or if you want to. I have just aligned it to the left hand side and then the other one onto the right hand side, right? And then if you see over there, so the tool space forms part, or it has different tabs within it. So these tabs include the prospector and the settings, the survey, as well as the toolbox. And you will see the minute I switch that off, these tabs will then um, be switched off on the on the tool space tab, and that is what you would want. If you want to see all these tabs within the tool space, you need to make sure that they are selected over there. And the other thing is, if you drop down under the palette, there are also different tabs that you can select to see within your interface if um, that is what you prefer. So at the moment, the only thing that I have selected is your command line, which is this one at the bottom. If I would simply switch it off, then the program will say to me, do you want to close this command line window? And uh, if I say yes, you will see it's no longer there. Then typing commands will be then an issue, and please just make sure that it's always on, and that is where you would simply switch it on. And then we have our explore, which is our project explorer, and then optimize, that is grading optimization, and then creating ground data, that is creating all the objects within your um, interface. Or these are just basically the core capabilities of Civil 3D, what is Civil 3D entails, or what you can do within Civil 3D. That is, you can import in points or create points if needs be, and you can create points for intersection, alignment, surface, and slope, or interpolate your points. And then the other thing is you can create surfaces, so you can create surfaces from different things, from DEM, or from your point cloud, or from a tin or TIN, or from GIS data. And then you can create surfaces from grading, and create surfaces from corridors, or create cropped surfaces if needs be. And the other thing is you can create design based on grading, parcel or feature lines, or you can design alignments or profiles or corridors or intersection and assembly, as well as pipe networks. So from your pipe networks, you can create pipe networks, use pipe network creation tool to actually create them, or you can create pipe networks from objects, or pressure network creation tool. You can use it to actually create those type of networks. And then the other thing is, or the other panel that you have within the home tab will be your uh, profile view, which is you can view your profiles and sections, that is your profile views and section views, and as well as your sample lines. And then I am gonna speak more or much or a bit on the different tool space tabs that we have. So the tool space, like I indicated, include three tabs. So we have the prospect tab, the settings. So the minute you select on the prospect, you will see everything that is included or entailed within the prospect information, or the prospect tab. And then similarly to if I select the setting tab, you will see everything that is included or entailed within the settings tab. similar to the survey tab and then the tool space. So I am gonna firstly look or get into or dwell more onto the prospect tab. So one can use the prospect tab to manage projects and drawing objects. You can manage all project objects just like your surfaces, and that is all the objects that are within your drawing. And then at the top there, that is basically your drawing, uh, or the name of the drawing and that you have open. And then over here, that is the tree or your prospect tree that entails everything and that you have within your prospect. So over there, and that is the drawing objects or the drawing title, and then underneath it is a tree of all the objects that are within this specific drawing. And then like I said, you can also manage your project data or shortcuts, and then we have what we call drawing templates within your prospect. So the prospect tree contains three top level collection, like I said: your drawing, open drawing, your data shortcut, as well as your drawing template. And then the other thing that's very quite important over there, we have what we call our controlling item display in the prospector tree. So you can either say view master view, which displays all the drawing items including your drawing template. If I go to uh, active drawing view, you will see it will only display items in the active drawing. So it will only show the drawing itself and then the data, not the template for your active drawing view. So if I have the master, so the master shows all project and drawing items including the drawing template, and then the active drawing view does not include, or it only shows the project and the drawing items, and then it does not show the drawing template. And then the other thing is, if you would then expand your objects that are within your drawings, which is your point groups, your surfaces, then you will be able to view all this information. At the bottom, you'll see it'll show me all the points that are within the drawing, and I will be then able to select them or do anything. So if you right click on it, you can be able to view the properties or edit any points or lock any points, unlock any points if you want to be, or show changes or update if you have made any changes onto any points within your drawings. And if you say select, you will see the minute you say select, it will show you over there under the properties palette. It will show exactly what has been selected, but you will see on the drawing it does not show it is selected. But under the properties palette, you will be able to see what is being selected. So cargo points, that is what I have selected at the bottom, and it will show me the list of these specific points that I have selected all on the drawing. Similar to surface, and you will see, if you right click on the surface, you can simply create the surface from there, or you can create a surface from the top. So that is one way of creating a surface within your drawing, by simply right clicking the object, which is surface, and then you can say create surface, or create surface from your DEM, or create surface from a TIN, and that is quite nice. And then these are the surfaces that I have within my drawing that is existing, and all of that similar to them. You can be able to edit the surface properties, or edit any surface style within that specific object or that specific surface that you have selected. So depending on which surface or how you have named each surface, you can be able to edit those specific surfaces or objects within your model. So then these are the other objects that you would find within your drawing, which is your alignment, that is your center alignment, offset alignment, your curve return, and then your alignment, and then your real alignment. So all the types of alignments that you might see, and you can be able to have, or the other objects within the drawings are my corridors, assemblies or sub-assemblies, or either intersections, and then my survey, the network, as well as the features within the prospect tab. Now, the settings tab. So underneath or on the settings tab, there are generally three levels of setting within your drawing. So the first setting, usually it is your drawing settings. So if you click there or right click on the drawing name itself, you will see, then you will be able to edit drawing settings, or edit label style defaults, or edit length XML settings, and then your table tag numbering if needs be. And then the second settings will be your future settings. If you select on the objects within your drawing, then that is when you will be able to edit any features settings within your drawing. So you can edit the distance and all of that. And then what you would notice is, if I would make changes, maybe let's make that 4, then it will select that it will override any of the drawing settings that I have created. And then the other settings that you would have within your drawing or your setting tab will be your command settings. So you can simply change your command settings, so edit command settings, and be able to edit any command for any feature or object within your drawing space. So the command setting can simply override the future settings as well as the drawing settings. So that is one thing that one should know and be able to understand when it comes to this. And then the other thing, or the next tab that would have, you will be your survey tab, where you will see all the survey data basis or survey information that you have imported into your drawing. You will see I did import survey for a specific location that I was doing this specific road for, and it will tell me exactly where I imported, or from which folder in my computer I have imported that survey information from. So that is what that entails, or the survey tab entails. And then lastly, the main tab that is quite important within the tool space will be your toolbox tab, where you will be able to see all where you will be able to actually manage or access your report, manage or access all the reports within your drawing. So if you drop down there, it will be a place where you can manage reports based on your alignments, your corridors, or all the objects that are within your drawing specifically. So that is quite important, or very important. And there is one thing that I wanted to show. No, that is not, but that also is quite important. Let me just, yes, the tool palette. That is what I wanted to show. That has um, the different palettes that you can add within your drawing. Just want to make sure I am selecting the right thing. Where is it here? What is this? That's just content. Uh, Oh, sorry. Yes, there it is. It is not there by the drop down, but this little tab that I did not select. So once you select it, you will see then you have your tool palette, where you have your civil metric sub assemblies. So all the sub assemblies that you can add onto your drawing. So assemblies, your basics, your lanes, your shoulders, and your medians, as well as curves that you can add within your drawing space. And once you select it, then you can be able to add it into your Civil 3D interface. So you can simply also drag it. Let's see. Yes, you can simply drag it, and if I right click, I can simply move it. Let's say maybe I move it to there, and if I tab, let's see, if I say anchor to the left and do this, it goes into, but I think you get the idea on what I want to do. So you can put it next to the tool space next to each other aligned. But yeah, that is something that you can add, which is your tool palette into your Civil 3D interface. So if I switch that off, then you would not be able to see it. And then the other thing that I wanted to touch base on would be the different tabs or ribbon tabs that we have. So under Insert, what's different from what AutoCAD offered or what was within the AutoCAD space, you would see under the Insert tab, the only thing that's new will be your infra work panel, where you can open an InfraWorks model into Civil 3D. I know they do work hand in hand together, but I still haven't gotten into how they work together. But that is something that could be quite interesting to get oneself into. And I know the import tab or panel was there, and but for Civil 3D, there are many things that are different from the AutoCAD one, which is your stormwater sewer, your import survey data, import sub-assemblies, as well as land desktop, and then land XML, and then point from file import. And the other one is your ArcGIS, that is a new panel into the Insert tab as well as the cloud. That is quite in point cloud, that is also a new panel into the Insert tab for Civil 3D. And then if we go to annotate, I think the only thing that's different from the AutoCAD interface would be the label and tables. That is quite something that was not in within the annotate tab. And then I think also the label text was not part, it's not part of the AutoCAD interface. And then if we go to modify, I think everything is still the same. The modified tab, I think everything that is within, because ground data, design, and then profile and section views, edit geometry, and then edit elevations and modify. The only thing that is not different is only this tab from Civil 3D to AutoCAD. And then the analyze tab, that is completely new. It is not part of the AutoCAD, so that is the Civil 3D, part of the Civil 3D ribbons that have been added. And then I think we had the view manage, the view tab, but there are a few things under the view tab. There are a few things that were not, or that are not part of the in the AutoCAD interface, and that will be the coordinates and the navigate 2D, and yes, I think that is what is not there. And then manage and the data shortcut, that is not part of the AutoCAD. That is the Civil 3D panels, that one of the panels that have been added into the manage tab. And then that will be your the other one will be your visual programming, and then your properties set data, if I'm not Yes, set data, this one there, and then the style is not part of it. And then outputs, I think the only thing that's not there, it is your plan production that is now added as part of the Civil 3D interface or panels for that output view tab. And then survey as well as rail and transparent, they are quite new, or they are part of the civil ribbon tabs that have been added. And then in infraworks and collaborate, I think everything that from everything is the same as in AutoCAD. And then I don't remember having the help tab within the AutoCAD space. And then add in manager, express tools, they are also the same as in AutoCAD, and then that is just another feature that has been added based on Procon. That is just for detailing concrete components, and then the future, and then this, like I said, once you have added your coordinate system, then this tab will simply be available. And then now I'm just gonna go back to my presentation. Let's see what is the next, which is an overview of your of Civil 3D core capabilities. And you will see that Civil 3D core capabilities include your surface modeling, that is creating and editing terrain surfaces from point contours or survey data. And then the other thing will be aligning and alignments and profiles, that is just to define horizontal and vertical geometry for roads and pipes as well as channels. And then the other thing that or core capabilities that are there within the Civil 3D space, corridors, that is combine alignments, profiles as well as assemblies to create 3D roadway models. And then the other thing will be your grading tools. I think I've showed where exactly these core capabilities are within the interface. So that is basically to design platforms, ponds, as well as embankments. And then pipe networks, we have design and analyze stormwater as well as sewer and water networks. And then lastly, we have the other thing will be the quantity takeoffs. That is where one could calculate the cut and fill volumes and provide material report for the materials that are within the model space. And then lastly, your plan production, that is to automate drawing sheets, labels, as well as tables for construction documentation. That is, if you want to do any tables, labels for roads and tables for that specifically, then you will be able to do that. Now, in conclusion, so Civil 3D is a comprehensive tool that integrates designs, analysis, as well as documentation within a single BIM BIM workflow. And then the other thing is it helps civil engineers improve project accuracy, and then it reduce rework and then streamline collaboration, as well as it's ideal for infrastructure projects like roads, platforms, as well as drainage system. That brings me to the Q&A session. I see someone saying the audio is quite soft. Sorry about that. I don't know, but I do have a very small voice, so it might, for some reason, sometimes feel like I'm not audible. I don't know if it was throughout the whole session, Jacques. If that's so sorry, so sorry for that. I hope you were not. I hope it's just only you who was struggling with the mic. So I see only one question. Any other question, guys? We still have 4 minutes to go through any other questions that you guys have. I'm just gonna give you guys maybe 2 to 3 minutes if there are any questions. All right, I see there isn't any other questions, but I'm just gonna be here for until 5 to 3 if there is any question, guys. All right, I see there isn't any questions coming up for me, but guys, if you do still have any questions, feel free to send your questions through to info@mgfx.co.za, or you can simply send the questions to my email address, which is mj at mgfx.co.za. And if there is any information or anything that you need, you are free to send out that to us, and then we will be able to get back to you and advise on anything that you are not just mainly on Civil 3D, but we do offer services on different Autodesk programs, as well as Procon, Idea Statica. If needs be, feel free to send out any questions and we will be able to help. And then the other thing is you can feel free to visit our website just to get all those information, which is at www.mgfx.co.za. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe for many of our videos, and feel free to go back to our website to be able to see all our videos and all the content that we bring to you. And don't forget to click for any notification for upcoming videos that we will be doing on everything that we are posting within our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. So you can visit either our YouTube channel, which is Micrographics, or you can visit our website, which is www.mgfx.co.za. Right, I see there is still no questions for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next webinar. My name is Mamjakile Sola, and thank you so much for watching.